Alright guys, what's going on? Today I'm going to be changing out the front wheel bearing on a 2006 Saturn Vue. Basically it's starting to hum and make noise, and I can tell that it's coming from my driver's side on the front. So I'm going to go ahead and take the wheel off, and I went to AutoZone already and got I think everything I need to go ahead and get the job done. But we'll go ahead and get started. Alright guys, this is a 2006 Saturn Vue. If you hear a little humming, almost sounds like road noise. That would be the sound of the front wheel bearing on the driver's side here. Here's a listen as we slow down. Go ahead and speed up here. Okay, so that humming noise that you hear is going to be that front wheel bearing. So we're actually driving to the auto parts store right now so that I can get a new front wheel bearing so that we can install it. Alright guys, so here's what I used today. Here's the Duralast part that I bought for the 2006 Saturn Vue. Here's the part number. I'll put a link in the description of the video. You're gonna need a hammer. Nice pair of pliers is always handy. Use this to help get that clip off of the ABS system. This part I rented, but it is a 34 millimeter half inch. This is a 9 hex socket, so you're gonna definitely need a 34 millimeter. You can use just the standard 6-point as well. You don't need the 9-point or the 12-point, whatever this is. But I rented it from AutoZone. I'm gonna take it back. Nice little flathead screwdriver, and you're gonna need just a standard socket set. You're gonna be using a 15 millimeter for the bolts on the brake caliper, and you're going to be using a 13 millimeter socket for the 3 bolts that are going to be used to take the wheel bearing off. And you're definitely going to need the extended longer 13 millimeter bolt socket to take out that bolt as well. A nice jack, of course, to jack the car up. I used the standard kit that came with the vehicle to take my tire off, so you don't need a special wrench if you don't have one. Just use the one that came with the Saturn. I put a jack stand underneath the car to be safe while the car was jacked up, and I had the jack, of course, the whole time as well, holding the vehicle up. And I took the tire off and did the job. So you're also going to need that can of brake parts cleaner. Definitely make sure your parts are clean, and the good old PB blaster. This, of course, was a definite help for getting those parts unstuck off of there. Alright guys, so all I've done so far is jack the wheel up just a little bit. I've cracked the nuts. I'm going to go ahead and spray some of this blaster on, this is a 34 millimeter nut. What I'm going to do is just let this get in there and work. Just a little bit. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off the whole brake caliper. There's going to be bolts right on the back side, not the ones that are up here on the actual caliper, but if you look closely on the back side of the caliper, you'll see a bolt. It's a 15 millimeter bolt, and then you'll have one directly underneath on the bottom side. So we're going to take out both of those 15 mil bolts, and then we should be able to slide the caliper off. So there's our first bolt. This is what it looks like. Mine came out very easily. I'm actually gonna try to set this in a one of my kids' toys truck. Before we remove the second bolt, we just want to be careful that, you know, this caliper doesn't fall to the ground, because it's going to pull on that brake line and probably cause damage. So again, just be careful backing out the second bolt all the way so that you're not going to drop it. I prefer to hold on to it just to support it, like so. And the bolt seems to be pretty loose, so I'm going to back it out the rest of the way by hand. There we go. And we should just be able to slide this off now. Okay, and again, I don't want it to go very far. So perfect. This little John Deere truck for me is helping me out. So from there, pull this rotor off. Be careful not to throw that down or damage it. I'm going to set mine aside on top of the tire. Okay, so now we're left with this guy, and from most of the videos that I've seen, this one's going to be pretty tough to back out. I'm going to utilize the tools that I have. I bought this 2 Christmases ago. I rented the set of these sockets, these axle nut remover sockets from AutoZone. This is a 34mm socket that we're going to be using. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this bad boy on. And let's get to work. All I'm looking to do here is back this nut out flush with the end. I don't want to take it all the way off. It's coming off. There she blows. Okay, so my car has been maintained very well. You know, I live in Florida, so I don't live up north. I don't have to deal with snow and things like that. You can actually see I can push mine already. Other videos I've watched, people would actually basically just hit this till it broke loose, where you can do this. Mine's already loose without having to do anything. Very fortunate for that, because I've literally been out here for 10 minutes, that's it. I've already got this loose. We're going to jump over to a 13mm socket, and we're going to try to remove these 3 screws that are holding the wheel bearing in.
What's up, guys?
My cousin Chris stopped by for moral support. He was out kayak fishing and saw me on the road here, so he's here for moral support.
Yep, couldn't help it.
So yeah, we're just backing out the 13mm bolts here. I got one out. They're pretty stubborn. Don't be surprised if yours are too. But definitely spray some of this blaster stuff of any kind on there, just to help get it in there, because I think without it, I'd still be hitting it with a hammer. So here's the second one of 3.
There you go. Oh, did you already disconnect the ABS sensor?
No, I didn't. Won't yet.
See, more sport.
Yeah.
Does it plug in over there?
I think that's it right there, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget to unplug this before you take out the last bolt, because this thing may just come falling down and break your connector off, and then you'll make more work for yourself.
Don't want that.
So yeah, good thing my moral support is here. He either distracted me or helped me. One or the other. Either way.
Either way, it's
we took it off.
Ooh, you see the smoke out there?
I did. It's a little friction. Told you it was pretty hard. All right, guys. So we have the old one out here. I ended up going with a Duralast. It was like $140 for the part. I'll link it down in the description. I'm gonna spray everything down with brake parts cleaner, just to make sure that this is nice and clean, and that I don't have anything in my brake system as well. So let's go ahead and slide this one into place and bolt it on down. So real quick, this new one is going to slide on like this. I'll line up our holes. The anti-lock brake clip is going to come through the little hole here, and it's just going to snap on with this little clip right there. It'll just click right in, and then we're just going to slide this on over the axle. So what we're going to do here now is just kind of lightly finger tighten things, get it lined up here. We're going to start with these 13mm bolts. We're going to go in through the back to pull this in. Okay, so these are going in nice and easily. I just want to make sure that they don't get cross-threaded or anything like that. So we're going to do a little bit on each bolt. I don't want one side to go in further than the next, so one side we're going to do a few turns and then just kind of hip hop back and forth. We're going to go ahead and take our axle nut. We're going to hand tighten this as far as we can go. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and tighten everything down. We're going to tighten this axle nut down with the air gun. Alright, now we're going to put our rotor back on and we're going to go ahead and hit this with a bunch of brake parts cleaner as well. Okay, go ahead and put the caliper back on now with our two 15mm bolts. So what I did here is I just took one of the lug nuts and just hand tightened it on there just to hold that rotor into place. Made it easier for me to line up that first screw. So now I'm going to drop the second one in and get it hand tightened before I start ratcheting it down. Not going to go too tight yet. I want to get both sides equally tightened. And before I put the wheel back on, hit it one more time with our brake cleaner. And that's the end of my can of brake cleaner. Here's our old wheel bearing right here. Pretty greasy and old, as expected, but pretty noisy, a little gritty and dirty in there. But you know, this is a pretty simple job. I'm not a mechanic. If I can do it, you can do it, that's for sure. So you don't really need a world of knowledge on vehicles. You just need to be handy enough to be able to handle the tools, which again, this can be done with pretty basic tools. So alright guys, so I hope you liked the video. I hope this was able to help you out. Again, I'm not a mechanic, so if I can do it, you can do it. But follow these steps along to make sure that you get your car up and running, save yourself a bunch of money, and please like and subscribe to the channel. You know, that helps me out. I'm really trying to push to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can start earning a little bit of cash off my videos. So again, if this helped you, like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Have a great day. See you next time.